The goal of the project essentially is to determine whether or not an individual is capable of performing a single leg, or otherwise known as a pistol squat, based on information I would gather from their ankle dorsiflexion range of motion passively and their capability of performing a front squat with a barbell loaded at their body weight, and they would have to squat for at least 1 or 2 repetitions. Okay, so the information I would gather this from would be, again, the ankle range of motion test. We would determine what your normal is for your foot arch first. We do not want the arch collapsing, and we don't want your foot supinating too much to compensate for the lack of range of motion at the ankle. We would also make sure that your heel would stay on the floor the entire time. This way you also will not exhibit compensatory patterns. And we would measure knee travel. So we take a measuring tape and we determine, based on how far from the ankle the knee is traveling, whether or not your range of motion is adequate for the pistol squat. Now, this determination was totally up to the supervisor, namely Dr. Boucher. And we would also have the person front squat at least their body weight. Now, this front squat didn't have to be to full ATG depth, otherwise known as, touching your hamstrings to your calves depth. It just had to be at least parallel. So we take this information and we determine, on a yes or no basis, whether or not someone could perform a pistol squat. So I chose this because the squat is actually one of my favorite exercises, and I'm highly interested in looking at various points of performance, how to improve, and also determining what your limitations may be. So this test would give me insight and, therefore the ability to help other people determine what their limitations may be. Now, based on that information, we can give them a proper course of action to improving upon these points and therefore improving their overall squat performance, and should they choose to single leg squat performance.